Alright, so I'm Nicholas. This is my level. So first the player's going to come to this junkyard-ish place, and they're going to grab this wire that they're going to be using throughout the level, as well as the scrap that they're going to be collecting throughout the level. This player's going to move these cars in order to gain access to the main building, grabbing no scrap along the way. They'll come here and see this dumpster that can be moved, show the player that they can use dumpsters, as well as show the player that they can fix these power boxes that are going to be out through the level. So the player is again going to use these dumpsters in order to block the turret damage. And we're going to go over here and we're going to grab the scrap, as well as a secret cache that's hidden in this area over here. And the player's going to continue on towards the storage room, where they're going to see a bunch of these boxes and 2 pressure plates. The player's going to take one of these boxes and put them on one pressure plate in order to hold it down. And the player is going to stand on the other. The player sees that there's 2 more power boxes and 2 more pieces of scrap, so they're going to pick those up, and they're going to have to find the other wires. So they come in here and there's 3 wires to show the player that those are the 2 that they need, plus that the player's going to have to fix 1 more in the future. So they're going to fix 2 power boxes here and come to a small platforming area. The player's going to jump over these pipes, collecting scrap along the way. The player's going to come to this room again, using the dumpster to block the turret damage. And they're going to use the last wire to fix this door. The player's then going to use the scrap they collected throughout the level to fix the generator to open the safe in order to grab the recorder that's going to be a part of other people's. And they're going to break the glass and exit the warehouse, ending my level.
Hello, my name is Agent. This is my level. The player starts off using the recorder from the previous level to open this keypad, and then immediately finds fire all around the room. He then uses fire hydrants to put out these fires in order to progress to the next area, which is the office inside of the museum building. The reason for this is because he needs to activate a sprinkler system in order to put out the fire that's blocking out the main hall. Along the way, he will encounter pressure plates and more fire hydrants for more collectibles, such as scrap. The player then accesses or collects the recorder from the office to move on to the warehouse. Inside the warehouse, the player will find Inside the warehouse, the player will find the pressure plates in order to open up the storage room, which holds the next recorder. And once inside the storage room, he will be trapped inside, so he will use a fire hydrant to break off the window and put out the fire in order to escape. There's also another pressure plate here, hiding some scrap across some movable crates. Now onto the main exhibit hall. The player will find himself surrounded by fire in both the exit and the lower part. He then moves on to the storage room inside the main exhibit hall to grab the last recorder and the drone used for the next few levels. The last recorder is used on this keypad that is blocked with fire, so the player uses a fire hydrant in order to clear out that fire and then utilize it, or then proceed towards the exit. Along the exit, the player will find that there is fire blocking the path, so he will have to find another sprinkler system in order to clear it out. He uses a pressure plate in order to move these crates, and he uses the boxes that he placed on said pressure plate to jump over and reach the sprinkler system. Once activated, he jumps over these boxes through the ledge and starts heading towards the next area.
Exiting agent's area, you enter my area. Proceeding forward, the player finds a truck and a ravine. By pulling the lever on the truck, they release trash into the ravine, creating a platform for them to jump across, along the way collecting a crystal. Proceeding forward, they will be shot at by a turret and use a brick to break down the wall on the right. To turn off the turret and gain access to the fence, the player will need to collect a battery. Once inside the fence, they will be able to collect another crystal and some scrap. Proceeding forward, the player will then pull bricks from the side of a building and platform across to reach a fire escape, giving them access to the rooftop. Collecting the crystal and moving forward, the player will come across a similar setup to the brick wall, which they will throw a cylinder through a door, splitting it into pieces, giving them access to the building. Proceeding forward and moving to the left, the player will come across a crate, which they can pick up with a grapnel and break to reveal some scrap. Moving forward, they will come across a locked room with the walls made of glass. They will proceed over to a turret on the right-hand side, similar to the setup outside. Approaching it, they will activate it, placing the battery inside, activating the turret, and shattering the glass, giving them access to the room. After collecting the crystal, they will pop down to the floor below and come across a refrigerator, which they will proceed to rip the door off of, collecting another piece of scrap. Using the ball on the shelf to their right, they will be able to break debris, giving them access to pathways, one of which will have another box broken, similar to the ones on the floors above, revealing another piece of scrap. And heading back to the center hallway, they will be able to crouch below the remaining debris, collecting a crystal and moving down towards the basement. Upon reaching the basement, the player will notice that there is a crystal floating up on the side and collapsed pillars. They will then proceed to platform along these pillars to reach the crystal. Once collecting the crystal, the floor beneath them will break away, trapping them in a fenced-in area in a sewer. Using a crowbar, by either dragging it over the fence or touching it to the fence door, the player will unlock the fence and then collect the crowbar for future use. Platforming across sewage, they will collect another crystal, reaching the final fence in the sewer and using the crowbar again to proceed forward. Upon doing so, the crowbar will break and will no longer be of use to the player. After crouching below this collapsed building, the player will come across another battery setup, and to the right they will find a battery which they will pick up using the grapnel, and upon activating the battery station, shatter a glass window, giving them access to the next area.
I'm Tristan, and this is my area. Over here to the left, you can find a secret collectible that allows you to open a secret area later on. There's a couple collectibles just scattered around here, and there's a couple scrap on the sides here, and the gas here does damage to you, which is why this health pickup is here to allow you to regain that health. And the crystals that you picked up earlier allow this crystal to spawn, which lets you then power these doors to progress. There's a collectible over in the corner here, as well as one underneath some debris. And this debris, you have to jump around to be able to progress to the next part of the area. This immediately a pipe bursts with deadly gas coming out of it, with a couple collectibles in here to grab. It's somewhat slow, allowing you to outrun it because it's the first time that you see it. And here is the secret area that you unlocked from earlier, allowing you to have a much bigger health back, healing back more health. Heading back down this hallway to the original room, you head over to the new highlighted alternate route with some extra collectibles in here, and if you grab this and pull it out, it allows you to jump across past the debris to this room where there's another crystal to grab. You can't let these touch any walls, otherwise it will break. This one is a little bit more windy, allowing for more skill. Once you get to this room, you have to pull this brick out from underneath, allowing for the debris to fall through, allowing for you to get through. And then, back in this room, more gas spouts out. This one's slightly faster than the last and doing slightly more damage. And a couple of pickups in corners, making it so you almost have to take damage. Then busting out of here, you complete the area, coming up to this little shed here, and jumping through here to get to the next area.
My name's Kevin, this is my level. So to start off, the player will enter the street and see right to the left there is a TV that is able to be pulled right through the window, breaking it from the inside. You then use that TV to continue on and break out the window on the opposite side to find a key card that allows you to enter the main gate of the apartment building. You also find a little bit of cash to pick up, which can actually be used as an alternative for a later pickup. So the player will jump back outside, now use the key card to open the front door. The player will now realize that there's a load of fire in the hallway as well as a locked door, so the player has to find a new way around. The player notices that there's a little bit of broken walls there, so they actually have the opportunity to get a running start and jump through there. Heading into the boiler room to find out how to turn back on the sprinkler system, so that way they can deplete the fire in the otherwise hazardous hallway. So they pick up the valve piece that's missing and activate it, which turns on the boiler, which then activates the sprinkler system from above. They're also able to pick up a few pieces of scrap along the way. Using the crates that are strewn throughout the boiler room, they're able to create a makeshift stairwell to actually walk back up. Once they reach the top, they notice that the sprinkler system turns on and gets rid of the fire. So as they continue up to the second floor, they're allowed to pick up a health pack just in case they took any damage. And here they find a dead body and a vending machine, which will actually allow them to find a bottle, which they can use later on. They're also going to come across a broken down stairwell that otherwise would have gotten them to the third floor, but considering it's broken, they'll now need to find a new way. Now when they walk through this hallway, they'll find that there's a few crates and debris scattered throughout, so they have to find a way to get around. In the room that they enter now, they'll find a crowbar and another bottle in case they happen to miss the previous one from the vending machine. That crowbar will now allow them to pry open any locked doors. Now going forward, they'll notice that the television, just like in the previous area, will be able to be picked up and used to break the glass out to continue onward into the fire escape. Doing so will also allow them to pick up the curtain, tattered curtain, which will be used later on for a crafting material. Here it shows that the ladder is bright with particle effects, but they can pick it up and attach it to the wall. Climbing up, they find a matchbox on the table in the third floor apartment. Now they crouch under the broken piece of roof that's in front of them to get through, and find that there is another turret in the hallway, which they can break just by simply hitting with the grapnel or any object in the hallway. Now finally using the crowbar one last time, they use it to pry open the door right to the roof. From there they notice a lot of locked doors, or locked gates. They're able to actually get by them, with the exception of the one to the generator, as you notice with the sparking electric. They are able to turn off the generator and gain access to the cell tower, which now has a green light as opposed to a previous red one. After entering the cell tower, the player can pick up the oil barrels and attach them to the two legs of the cell tower, which allows them to set up a moment for them to be able to take advantage of a sort of explosive outcome. Going forward, they'll be able to use all of the crafting materials that they found throughout, the matchbox, the bottle, and the curtain rod, or curtain piece, and create a Molotov cocktail. They'll be able to throw it at the barrels and explode it, so that way they can knock over the tower and progress onto the side of the parking garage. Now, traversing across the parking garage, they'll notice a few pieces of scrap around right on the top. They'll also notice that there is a car dangling right over the edge, which they can actually push over just with the weight of their body and knock down onto the tanker truck, which was otherwise blocking the road down below. After opening up the elevator, they'll be able to ride it down to continue on to the very first floor to progress further. At this point, they notice 3 turrets, which will otherwise be a huge hazard and hassle for them to take care of. But the player is able to take advantage of the weak structural base right above it and break down through the concrete, destroying the turrets and allowing the player to progress further. At this point, the player all has to do is walk down the street and reach the completion of the level. This has been The Level.